coming in. If you're watching this on a recap on YouTube, we will be doing that. So just be mindful of that. I'll leave for a second. I gotta do something real quick. All right, so we're back. Welcome on in. If I don't see your comments through HAPS, which you're looking through this screen, it's going to be because mainly, for some reason, I don't see a lot of the comments unless they're directly on the HAPS app. But you will be able to see that on, I will be able to go back on later. It's not letting me stream on the Grow Food Now thing, but we'll see. Whoa, 33 watchers. It's good to have y'all in here. So we're going to be talking about the Ukraine. Man, that's a lot of folks. So we're going to be talking about Ukraine invasion. I've been watching a lot of news today, and I wasn't going to do a stream. Had a lot going on, but I decided we'd get on and talk. Man, that's a lot of folks coming. I ain't never had that many through HAPS. So welcome on in. It's good to have y'all. Again, if I don't see your comments here, I can go on Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube, and I can go back and answer any questions you have. We're going to be bringing most of our guests through TikTok or Clapper. So if you hear people just anonymously talking, it's going to be one of those apps. Those are the main apps I have followings on. So if you are new to the Chaos Cast, go ahead and tap that button. We got 43 in here. Dang, a lot of folks on. A lot of folks are getting.
Stop being friends with this one dude because he was acting a little too sus.
Wait a minute. Yeah, that's Clapper for you.
Oh, he texted me which cleared.
I don't want to get into no politics like that. But yeah, if you are coming in, just leave your thoughts and the questions. If I don't get to address them here, go ahead and I'll talk to you. I'll message. I'll look at the messages later, so you get to see the setup. So we're about to go live on Clapper, and we'll start that. So we got 43 through HAPS, which is great. I imagine that's either it's either Twitter or Facebook, maybe YouTube, but I don't know. You gonna let me start the live? There we go. Wait a minute. I didn't even give it a title. I didn't even give it a title. That's bad. So one of the main things, we woke up this morning to the invasion. We woke up to Russia's full-scale attack. And so I guess, in all honesty, there are a lot of people that didn't expect a full-scale invasion. They expected Russia to try and take back some of what they had previously had in their territory prior to Ukraine becoming its own, or I guess during the Crimea incident. But they decided to take back what they had prior to the USSR collapsing. So there's that. And who knows what they're going to do? They may go take other nations. I don't know if we're going to go to war. I don't know if NATO's going to war. But again, it's kind of all up in the air. And I'll be repeating some of these things once I get the Chaos Cast going. We're going to, I got to put the, well, let's see here. Again, if you're coming in and you are on TikTok or you're on Clapper, you can get directly into these DMs if I'm not seeing what you're doing here, because this is an experimental app. We're just trying to get it going to as many as we can when we do these. But if you want to get in the comments directly and talk with me about something, Edge29 Chaos Preparedness on TikTok, and Dennis Bunch, Dennis Bunch _ S29chaos.com. Actually, it's S29chaos on TikTok. I just changed that the other day. Just went to something simple for everybody. Had to excuse my my vocal cords. I've got to keep them lubricated because I've been sick lately. I've been a little puny, as my grandmother used to say, my mama used to say, feeling puny. So I'm going to share this out. It takes an insane amount of time to get one of these live streams up and going when you're doing a multicast like I do on 6 apps, and you're just dealing with old phones because I'm not doing this with a computer. It may be easier to do it with a laptop, but I've just invested more in phones here, it seems, than computers. Easier to deal with most time. All right, so we're sharing that out. And we'll see. Maybe it'll let me share it. There was one person directly came in and sent me a tip on Clapper because they wanted to be in the next live we did. But let's go down through here. 100K Club. There's that. So, okay, it's sent Yellow Cape. That might be. Nacious Riley. We have one friend. I'm not seeing her right now. But maybe I got her. Her name is Alexander. All right, we'll get this going here in a second. But all right, we got a few people in our flex. We got my friend Allie Handley from the UK. She is coming in now. All right, so Allie, you're over in the UK right now. Let us know your thoughts. Being you're closer to the action that's happening in the Ukraine than we are. So let us know what your thoughts are on that. Right now, that's pretty cool. We got 52 on Haps. I've never had that many coming through Haps. Now, Ali is saying it's awful. Putin's insane. It is. I mean, it is awful. I was watching a video of one of their jets flying over, dropping a missile. It went off, and just hear this baby start squalling in the background. It kind of breaks your heart when you are when you're hearing that child start screaming, and you think of your own kids. You know, you probably think about little Flex, and I think about Braden, Weston, and it does rip at your heart. And we're all kind of just getting out. A lot of folks are just getting off work, wanting to know what in the heck is going on, because nobody expected this to happen with Russia. I was watching Tim Pool. He's a more moderate guy that I see. And he was saying, he was wrong. He had thought they wouldn't come in and even really do much more than try to take their property, but the what they already had, the pro-Russia states. But they have literally. Hey, Danny, it's my friend Danny. We're gonna bring her in. I think she's out there. Harley Quinn, good to see you. So we got Carl's, good to see you. Never had America needed Trump more than today, and that's a guy from the UK saying that. Hey, what you doing, Danny? Was fixing to get into the session about the invasion. What have you been digging up on it?
I just started watching videos on it. I really don't have a lot of information on it. I was hoping to gain some information from you.
Well,
I've definitely seen bombs. I'm seeing videos of neighborhoods being taken over and stuff like that.
Well, from what I've seen on the maps, now it's gonna blow your mind. We got 52 people coming through Haps. We got 52 people coming through Haps. I've never had that many. We've only got one or two over here on Clapper, but from what I've seen,
I had 250 people in my live this morning
on TikTok.
On TikTok, just out of nowhere, yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're all preppers. They're probably coming in wanting to know what's going on. I didn't want to get on without knowing anything, and I really wasn't going to have the time today. But then my boy got sick, and I had to stay home with him. And
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it's a stomach virus that I think he brought home from school. Man, my voice is about gone. But they were coming. It looks like they've come in. Was they've come up from? They're coming in from three sides. Belarus, I believe, they're coming in from there. They're coming in on their border, and then they're coming in. If I'm looking at the map right, you're looking. They're coming in north and east and south. And
yeah, I saw a whole bunch of different invasions going on from all different angles, all along the outside of all the borders.
They flew in. They kind of done. They studied the tactics of shock and awe that we did in Baghdad for like 10 years. So they're saying it's a lot like shock and awe. They're saying they're modeling it after that. They're saying that they hit all the airports, knocked out all the airports. They hit all the military bases, knocked out the military bases, and then they just started rolling in. So they had these air raids all through what is our nighttime, and then we wake up this morning and we find out it's a full scale invasion. He's not just trying to take back the Crimean Peninsula; he's trying to take the whole enchilada. I guess you'd say.
I never expected him to go for a little bit. I knew he was going to try to take the whole thing. There was no doubt in my mind. He believes he owns Ukraine, so.
Yeah, he's wanting. They say he's wanting to rebuild the USSR, and that he's going to be another Stalin, in a way. I don't know. I'm not saying either way.
Oh boy.
Hey, Ignatius, it's good to see you. Yellow Cake's in over here.
That makes me nervous because of the dreams that I'm having where they're invading the United States. Someone, I can't confirm that it's 100% Russia in my dreams, but it's not China in my dreams.
So some of what my voice is coming back. So some of what I've been seeing, two things that concern me is Putin has said that anybody that wants to try to interfere, there'll be preemptive strikes. Now, I'm hearing a lot of rumors. Now, one of the rumors I'm hearing is you got high-level D.C. officials that are flying out to Colorado and Denver. And so they're getting out of D.C. Also, I'm hearing that China has issued statements that what is happening in Ukraine, I don't know if they said it can soon happen in Taiwan or this is what you have to look forward to in Taiwan.
Boy. It's not good because, you and I both know that bad people are opportunists. And when everything is chaotic in the world, they're going to take an opportunity like right now with the trucks rolling in Canada, with everything, all the chaos, and everybody's closing their borders and their exports and all that kind of stuff. Of course, they're going to take advantage of that time and do this now.
Well,
what's up?
We're being told to brace. They're bracing for cyber attacks in New York. So one of the things we've seen happen in Ukraine prior to the invasion for the last few days, they've been hitting the banks. Now we've seen cyber attacks shut down like whole countries in the last few years. We've seen it. We've seen infrastructure get hacked in America. So now we're seeing all this happening where they hit Ukraine, and New York is getting ready for to have their infrastructure hacked, basically. I don't know if you've seen Double N Glenn.
They have been warning about it for a while, and everything that they put in the mainstream media is eventually gonna happen. There's a reason why they plant all those seeds that we're gonna get hacked and this and that.
Well, I believe that would be something that could happen. With the technology we have, computers run everything. How you doing, Evan? Good to see you, bud. Ignatius Riley.
Exactly.
Ignatius Riley said he likes the shirt. This is a Happy Gun Productions shirt. You can get these on my website. It's a link to Dr. Kenny's store. And you can get these $21. Happy Gun shirt. But one of the things that they're talking, Double N Glenn was saying companies are sending out emails to people about the potential for cyber attacks because it's a new phase of warfare. So, man, if I could just talk. I picked a good time to be sick right in the middle of when a big war happens.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, Nacia's got the same shirt as me. One of the things that about the cyber attack is how dependent all of our systems are. Now, somebody was saying they might even hit our vehicles. They might even hit our, a lot of other things. So if they just took out the internet, let's say they just shut down our way of communicating on the internet. These days, there's going to be people on the roads that are lost because they depend on these phones for GPS. So
that is so true.
Yeah, I
just had that conversation ironically yesterday. So we had like a family dinner, it was like couples family dinner, no kids involved, and we all had that conversation about, what if the GPS had gone down, people wouldn't know where the heck they're going. And I said, well, me and my husband we will drive ourselves to the middle of a neighborhood somewhere and just start walking.
Harley Quinn. And
not knowing where the car is, we try to navigate, like, okay, we went down this block, we went to, like, purposefully losing ourselves so that we can practice the skill of navigation on our own. And I think a lot of people have lost that skill.
Yep. Harley's bringing up something, along with what you're talking about. She's saying you better learn quick, and you're talking about trying to relearn that skill with the maps.
Yeah.
People don't know how to use compasses. Now, that's one of my weak points is navigation. I'm still in the process of learning. I'm still in the process of learning with a lensatic compass and a map, and that's going to be my next probably bigger thing. Are you getting a reverberation?
Sorry, no, I accidentally clicked. I have Newsbacks playing on my computer behind you, and I accidentally unmuted it when the My Pillow guy came on, so that's who that was.
Oh, the My Pillow guy. That guy. But yeah, navigation is going to be like a key thing if the grid went down. I mean, I can read it. I can roughly, get a good idea of where I'm at just by the sun. Me and Kevin talked about that. That's something he had to know out in the outback. He's got a lot going on, a lot of land they got to travel that their family owns. And I think it's got something to do with like Aboriginal, he's able to own that land because of Aboriginal descent, but he's got tons of land. And so when he started talking about navigation with the sun, I started trying to make sure I had a good idea of, of how to do that. Sun rises in the east, sun sets in the west.
That's in the west. And usually the sun's like right above you around 12 o'clock. It's like right above you.
And then Nacia's Riley's saying mountains make it easy. They're due west. So I guess he's in Colorado. And Pastor Moki's talking about he learned how to use a map when he was a wildland firefighter. So,
they are saying that it says Putin wants to rebuild the Soviet Union. That's what it's saying right here. Hold on. Let me see if I can get the sound on here.
Well, they're afraid if they let him take ground now, then he's going to progress forward to try and take back the Baltic states. That was what caused the straw that broke the camel's back when the USSR collapsed. You had Baltic nations that just basically, seceded, and you had like 15 different states seceded afterwards, and it just went completely down after that. So there's a lot of skills that people are going to have to pick up if they was to hit our internet. Will they be able to get it all? I don't know, because we do have our own cyber warfare teams. We do have our own people fighting this same battle with us. So we do got a lot more in the prepper community now, and I believe they've got plans in place. But what in the scheme of things, I see so many different things. Like I see people on our side going off. I see people on a liberal side and a conservative side kind of agreeing with one another, and then the other half agreeing with each other in their turn. We need to go to war. We don't need to go to war. We need to stay here. Then you got people saying this is just fake news. This ain't really happening. And then you see the bombs hitting. But then you hear they're pulling videos offline, and you can't tell if it's Russian disinformation campaigns to try and confuse us, because that is the new warfare.
Yeah. And you know what? Like, during this whole thing, it does seem like there's a lot of purposeful misinformation, a lot of like purposeful confusion. I mean, because I've seen videos of people in Russia before this happened saying, the news is lying one way or another. So just like we have a divided country here, they have a divided country there. It depends on what news media station they're watching.
We got my friend Shelly B in the house.
I haven't seen you in a long time.
Plant Patriot.
It's good to see you again.
It's because we've been over here on TikTok. We ain't got to see her a whole lot. She come in.
It's just been so long.
She got back. She quit. She left Clapper for a while, and then she came back and restarted and got back into everything. But yeah,
I don't think I knew that she came back.
Yeah. Well, she contacted me directly, and I was like, "It's Shelly B. She's back. My friend from South Carolina."
Oh no! I'm talking about Harley Quinn.
Oh, Harley Quinn. Yeah, Harley Quinn left Clapper. I don't think she ever came back. She said it's too much drama.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I haven't seen her in a really long time.
We got 57 coming through Haps. Now, it's good to have y'all in here with us. So, I guess the main thing is Biden openly admitted that we're already seeing increase in inflation, but he's openly admitting this is probably going to shoot it through, double prices of food and gas. We're going to see that happen again.
Very quickly.
And we done. I mean, my wife's already she's stressing about it. She's coming home from grocery shopping. We'll swap it out here and there, and she'll come home and she'll say it's just crazy. $300 don't buy anything. Like, we're spending more than our house payment now on buying food, and it's like
that's right.
we're not coming home with. We're still not coming home with what we used to. So, Lightfoot Farm, you're right.
Same here.
My experiments with garden are over. I'm going to what I know is going to happen. I'm going to what I know is going to work. Thank you, Shelly.
So, I would say, for advice for anyone who's listening right now, between what's going on in Ukraine and the fact that Biden keeps instigating the issue, on top of the trucker protest that's going on, that is now started. It has already started in the United States. It's going to continue to pick up momentum. It's going to get bigger. They're planning more truckers going March 1st, and that is going to start a chain reaction. So it is not the truckers' fault for the food shortages, but it is not going to help the situation in any way either. So my advice to people is right now, and I do not like to support Walmart. I really, really don't. But I was on their website. They have canned food that's like 50 cents. Some of them are 50 cents and stuff. Get an order in. Order from ReadyWise. Whatever you have to do it now.
If you can get it, they got a waiting list.
This is for people that need to go out and get their stuff right now.
Yeah. If you got time,
absolutely don't wait on this. I would say definitely get things while the prices are lower. I can't believe I'm saying that right now because the prices are so high, but try to get the stuff while the prices are lower because inflation's definitely coming.
Right about that. Ignatius is talking about stocking up on food as well. He's wanting to know about the NATO argument. It's just an excuse to expand Russian borders. There's a big debate. Are they expanding Russian borders? Then there's a talk on that some people are coming about with saying that that Putin's just basically going in there to take out the president because it was an illegitimate president, I believe, that was a Western plant.
He believes he owns Ukraine. He believes that Ukraine is a sovereign part of Russia, and he wants to reclaim that part of Russia. In his eyes, he already owns that territory, and he is not going to stop until he is in control of it.
Mm-hmm. See, I really don't. I'm just kind of sitting back. I don't have a solid opinion of what is happening because
There's too much confusion with this one.
And I think that's part of that's part of the warfare. They've been planning this probably for a while. It's probably not just Russia. It's probably a joint thing because they've said they stand together. China is releasing, with the sanctions going into effect, China's releasing wheat to go into Russia. So they know they've got a handle on a lot of our food supply, and they've got a handle on a lot of our supply chain in general. Russia is
so
one
you're
of.
saying China is giving Russia the wheat supplies. So the exports that usually come here are going to Russia.
I'm not sure what we do in Florida River. They are sending. They right now China has about 60 some odd % of the grain in the world stored up just in their country. And so when we put sanctions on Russia, there's trade that's not happening because of that. Well, China's just going to take care of them because everybody trades with China. So there's nothing going to happen to them. So they're cutting off all of the ammonium nitrate to Europe. And I mean, Russia supplies 80% of the world's ammonium nitrate. So that's going to affect everybody's food supply. So stock up. Get your initial stocking up. Look at seeds. The seeds are coming out. Start your plants now because we may be looking at where we need, like Danny's been preaching forever, a victory garden. We may be on the cusp of a world war. We may not. Nobody really knows what's happening because I believe that's part of this. They came in, they invaded, and there has been a heavy disinformation campaign all around this world. We can't tell hiding our head. We can't. We don't know whether we're coming or going. So you say, "Hey, hot."
Yeah, but what's another interesting thing that pops into my mind is the fact that what was that? Maybe 4 months ago, where China had told everyone in their country to stock up on food. Yeah. When do you ever see a country tell their citizens to stock up on food and make sure that they have a good stock of food? The only time that I would ever think that would happen is if it's going to be wartime. They know that they're going to be in some kind of war, and they want their troops, no matter where they are, to be able to access food.
I'm gonna
throughout the country.
I'm gonna say this. Everybody share this out on whatever platform you're on. Let's bring more people into the conversation. Again, if you're on Haps, we'll go back to your comments and try to answer as many of them as long as they're respectful, because I don't know who's coming through. It's not showing me anything. But we're going to do our best to interact with y'all after the cast, if my voice will hold out. But let's see. This looks like a bright bunch. I don't know if I got any in here. I quit using them because they had done something to my throat at one time. But one of the things that we're seeing, China's basically said Taiwan's going to be like the Ukraine. You just basically they're just saying, you watch what we're about to do. Hold my beer. And I had a friend a while back. She was doing. Did somebody mute Carl? Carl Yuri was muted. Hey, Harley, I'm gonna make you a moderator.
Oh, because he said that we look like a bright bunch because he was just judging us by our aesthetics and probably your racist accent. That's what someone said in the past live that we had, is that he has a racist accent, which is the most absurd thing that I've ever heard in my life.
So we got Lightfoot Farms. I didn't know you could turn that moderator on like that and it just stay that way. So thank you, Lightfoot Farms. She's usually in here every time. So
she's on mine too.
Yeah, so I've got the moderator right there. But yeah, thank you for kicking that out. We don't need no trolls in here. We'll probably get them.
Oh yeah.
But I had a friend at church. She used to do the boutique sales, and so she had to go through China to do a lot of that to get stock because literally everything comes from there. And so she had a friend there. She said, "Isn't it crazy how our countries are sad how our countries are going to go to war?" And she's telling me this. She says, I didn't know what she was talking about. It just blew her mind. But there's been a lot of European countries for a while. Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's division. I'm cool with people being here that disagree with me. So if you're in here and you disagree, that's cool. Let's just be respectful to one another. Y'all can even argue down here.
Yeah, just be respectful. Don't insult people for no reason. Let's be adults here.
I think it's stroking over here telling me, says I better build me a moonshine still, you racist patriot. I got a racist voice. My wife, she's actually, I had to stay home from a concert tonight. They were going to Casting Crowns. We were all going to go with some friends. And then my son got a stomach virus. And he'd been holding his stomach and he started getting sick and then he threw up. And I'm like, we can't take him to mama's. I don't want her to get it. and so then I just like, well, I'm gonna stay home. So
that sucks. Oh, that stinks. Yeah. Well, it sounds like you're sick too, so it's better if you do. But Casting Crowns is pretty cool. I wouldn't want to miss that.
I like Mark. I've sung a lot of them songs at church, leading worship. So yeah, I like.
I forget that you're the secret singer all the time. I always forget that you're the secret singer.
Oh, Lord. Oh,
we're gonna start a band between me, you, Jackie, Tourette's, Flex, all of them.
About the
start a band. I'm gonna do a rap video. That's on my bucket list.
Ignatius Riley's getting on Patriots United over here. He said that's not cool. Yeah, and one of the live streams he was in not long ago, Ignatius, somebody said I had a racist accent. So now it's just a rolling joke. Everything I do is racist. Yeah. Because I'm from Alabama, apparently.
I had a comment once upon a time that I looked racist because I had blue eyes. And instead of giving that person attention, I just deleted their comment altogether. I was like, you know what? One person's going to see this, and they're all going to roll with it. All the trolls are going to roll down the hill with this one comment. I'm like, nope, deleted.
Oh, Lord. So, I feel like I'm fairly non-racist. I feel like I'm as non-racist as you can be, but yeah. They know more about me than I do.
Apparently, yeah.
I think my friend Chris Kerr, he might be coming through Facebook. I just got a messenger from him.
I'm gonna have to get going anyway. I just wanted to come in and say hi and try to get some updates from you about this Ukraine stuff because it does look like it's popping off over there. There's definitely bombs going up in the air and hitting all over. But remember, guys, this is the media. What you see with your own eyes, you can't even trust half the time. Sometimes they fake deaths. Sometimes they do stuff like that. So be careful what you're watching and be careful of the TikTokers who look like they're streaming live from Ukraine, but really they're not doing that. And they're actually getting coins from people who are feeling bad for them.
That is crazy.
So watch out for the scammers. I've definitely seen a couple of people already scamming for money. If you go onto their account, they usually don't have any videos whatsoever. Look out for them. Don't send them your coins. Don't send them your money.
Be very careful who you're sending money to. Send the money to reputable organizations. We try to give you disclaimers around here.
But I'm going to go. I'll see you later. And yes, keep them in your prayers.
Oh, yes. Definitely.
And I'll pray for you, Dennis, and your son.
Thank you. I need all of it I can get right now. I think I cut her off. Sorry, Danny. I didn't mean to cut you off. I thought you was done. But yeah, one of the main things we're seeing is I had a friend. He seen some of the stuff on Facebook. He's a local guy that I grew up with, his brother, and then me and him worked together. He said, "What's going on with this war?" Now, I'm not sure he's the prepper type, but you're starting to see more and more non-preppers prep because it's becoming inevitable. The world is not the happy-go-lucky place it was a few years ago. You are dealing with what normally happens after pandemics like we just went through, whether you think it's real or not. You're seeing supply chain collapses because people weren't working, because people were sick, because people were on quarantine. So then you're seeing countries vying for resources. Some people literally believe Russia's doing this simply for the farmland, the arable soil that the Ukraine has. So the Real Buzzer Life saying the Air Force Base there is not mobilized anything yet. Ignatius Riley on Clapper is asking about the meal box. Now, this is one of our sponsors, ReadyWise, and they help support what we do. We do make a certain percentage. If you are one of those that don't have the time to set up and do your own prepping, we got a deal for the folks that help here and come in. It's a discount of 10%. You can go to readywise.com and you save 10% with discount code E29TEN, E2910. We spell the 10 out. And you can save 10% and we make a percentage, and that helps with what, we do here, because, I don't, this takes time. It takes some money. It takes a lot of effort and a lot of creativity. I think I'm getting a screen starting to go out on Habs, but yeah. So this is the Adventure Meals. This is good for bug out bags, hiking, camping. That's what we use it for, is when we go camping. And you just boil the water and pour it in. So if you're looking for something in a power outage, maybe a long-term power outage, boil this up, boil the water up, pour it in one of these bags, eat it directly from the bag. I think we've got some videos. My nephew Carson, he was over there eating out of one of them ReadyWise bags, just chowing down. The boys eating out of it all the time when we go out. And we've had a number of the meals on here, so go check them out. So I believe right now is the biggest we've had in our lives before. We got 60 on Haps, 33. At one time we had up to 40 or 50 in TikTok, about 40 on Clapper. So we've got over 100 people. We've had probably 100 people at one time, all on all 6 platforms together. And you can go to YouTube after this and you can share out the recap to friends if you want to have anything to add in comments. So, and again, I'm sick, so I'm trying to keep my voice going. My golden voice is going. And thank y'all for likes that y'all have put in. That helps push this into the algorithm. So again, I'm going to ask everybody, whatever platform you're in, share this out. Hit that like button. Let's push this out there with the algorithm and keep it going. And also, if you're looking for good tactical gear, Olite.com, DB29, so you save 10% on these. They're great, reliable flashlights for they got for firearms, EDC, your bikes, all that good stuff. There's a button down. There's a button on there that you can hit the like button down there. I'm thinking. I'm not sure. It's been a while since I've been on the other side of one of these on TikTok. I thought they had a button down there. Just tap the screen, they're saying. So there you go. Thank y'all for the likes there. Army surplus stores. Yes, definitely good. We got It's Doomsday Podcast coming through Clapper. He's on TikTok. So if you're on TikTok, you can follow It's Doomsday Podcast. And I believe he's got an extra site. He does a podcast about prepping. So go give him a follow. Go check him out if you're new to the group. If you're new to Prep Talk, we'll introduce you to some folks. We're actually got a pretty good group of preppers and survivalists on Clapper now. So if you are a prepper and a survivalist, we tell you, we counsel you go to Clapper because you can have your firearms on there. You may not be able to hear, but you can there because it's an 18 plus app. So you can get on there with your firearms, do tutorials. We have a gun week. I usually host a gun week. I'm debating on this year if I'm going to do gun week, or at the time I did it last year, if I'm going to wait and do it at SHOT and maybe look into going to SHOT Show. We'll just see how that goes. But getting back to the Russia and the Ukraine situation, there's a lot, like we were talking about, there's a lot of disinformation there. Like she said, there's people posting videos, we're in Ukraine, we need help now. Now I've got a friend, he's Doomsday Podcast coming to TikTok. Crazy 420, good to see you. But this friend, he emailed or he messaged me a picture on Instagram. Now he lives in Virginia, but he's He's got a lot of friends all over the world. He's kind of like I am, and he sends me this picture from a photographer from the Ukraine. It's one of his favorite photographers, and he's a friend. And it shows this little old lady with her face just bloody from, I don't know if it was shrapnel. She was thrown down to the ground, thrown on into something when things went off. But you can watch a lot of the clips. I've shown some of the air raid clips, but then there's more. It's just a huge mushroom cloud going up, and I believe that was in the capital city. So we're seeing this just in real time, and a lot of people just did not expect it to go down like it was. We've seen misinformation from the Russians. We've seen them load up their troops, load up all their gear, and say the West has been made to look like a fool. Let's see who. Let's see. We'll bring Harley in. I just now seen your request on there, Harley. Hey, what you doing?
Not much. Got the day off because of the weather.
I just got the day off. We didn't know if the weather was going to be bad or not. They just told me to stay home. So I said, all right.
They sent us a message last night, said that they were going to delay our start time to 10 a.m. At 8:30 this morning, they sent a message out to all of us telling us that they closed the company for the day, off with pay.
What do y'all have coming through? Tornadoes or something?
We have a nice
Okay, you were breaking up. What'd you say?
So we had an ice storm hit us.
Oh, okay.
An ice storm?
Yeah. Now see.
Did you really just say who cares? He asked me a question, dude. Here, let me show you who cares. Let me fix that for you.
Oh Lord, we got them coming in. Who knows who will have come in? I hadn't heard anything back from a friend of mine in the UK. So we got a lot of people from the UK that we have as friends. My friend Allie Hanley, she comes in. She's pretty tore up about it. She came in at the beginning of the show, and she was talking about. Do you know Flex Mom? You know?
I think so.
Yeah. So she's a friend.
Clapper, right?
Yeah, she's from Clapper. So she's from the UK, and she's a pretty big creator on Clapper. And she when I do that, I'm pointing at this phone. This is Haps. This is Clapper. Haps is going to 4 or 5 different apps, so we don't know who's watching right now. We'll see afterwards. But she was pretty tore up. She's going off on Putin. She's not happy with it. We talked to Kevin May from Australia, I think last week, and his sentiments were this. He said whether it's right or not, he feels like we'll always end up in the war one way or another. People will choose sides. That's just the way he's seeing it. And I feel like, hey, Kimberly Shea, you're from Australia. What are your thoughts on the Russian invasion of Ukraine? So we got she rides kangaroos. She's riding kangaroos to school, by the way. So that's how I made friends with her. So
I want a koala bear. Somebody send me a koala.
They're so cute, ain't they? Where are you gonna get your eucalyptus sleeves at?
I don't know. Order them. Figure out how to grow them myself.
One of the things that I want to bring up that I heard, and it may be related to this or not. There's a guy I follow on YouTube, the Canadian Prepper, and he owns a preparedness business online. And he had been talking a lot about this. He'd been talking to people all over the world, and he said, we're fixing to see this happen. So he was on the money. He knew what he was talking about. He said that the Red Cross called him wanting to source his MREs he had in stock, and it was going to be like 2 or 3 times normal, and they wanted to get them down. The people thought it was for the trucker rally. I think it was in Ontario, and they were wanting to get it to the Canadian Red Cross was wanting to get those MREs badly, like they were going to pay this price, and they were sourcing from just like little vendors. I mean, he's not a huge vendor, and the Red Cross was needing. They were going around. Well, come find out, it's happening in America too. So my thoughts were, yeah, we probably had some heads up this was coming. The government was trying to probably keep, what they knew under their hats. while they mobilized. So is the Red Cross, were they mobilizing for this? Were they trying to get as much as they could to send over there because they knew this was coming?
That's one of mine. Hey, Party. Kyle is actually in Canada. Party Demon? He's in Canada.
So, what, they just mobilized. Yeah, what's mobilized? That's going to be a new thing on here. So, Party Demon, I heard they've ended the emergency orders that Trudeau put in, and they've cleared out the truckers. There's some cops in trouble for making fun of the truckers when they were, I guess, attacked. When they were taking them in. But
hey, Army Rat.
So, how are things in Canada now, Party Demon? Mama C7, good to see you in here. Or no, it's Mama Bear 7. I don't know, that might be Mama C7. It's just got a new name. Jeremy's here. We're gonna bring up my friend Jeremy Calgaro if he's able to come up. He probably has some insight into some things. We were talking about this the other day. How you doing, buddy?
So, how's work been going? I know you've been working nights.
I just got off of it. I may be going to another job. So, the other night I came home. I got sent home because of some things that were going on because I was tired. And so I put in for a bunch of jobs. And out of the blue, I got all kinds of, heck, I ain't got nothing to worry about, no job. I'll just say that. I got about 4 or 5 good prospects. And they're all better paying than what I'm doing.
It's a wonderful feeling, ain't it?
It is.
It's a wonderful feeling.
I'm highly in demand, at least somewhere. So, what are your thoughts on the invasion right now? I know you've got a lot of military experience. What are your thoughts on what's happening in Ukraine right now?
So, right now, as far as Ukraine and what's going on, seriously, I look at it like, number one, the U.S. needs to step away from it. If they want to do sanctions and all that, there's not much. It's really not going to do much anything. Russia has been a thriving country for years before we threw sanctions or anything else on. It's not going to do much to them. But also, on that same hand, we can't be sending any troops in. We are war tired. After 2 wars and all that, we can't hang with this. But also on that same point, friggin', the stuff that I saw with Ukraine, they had weeks of freaking warning. They had weeks of all this, and then the Russian army rolled in. The first thing Ukraine did was it's martial law. So, hey, yeah, we're getting invaded. Everyone stay in your homes. Don't come out of your homes. Don't come out. Don't do whatever. And also, too, on the same note, you see all these videos of all the Russian tanks and everything moving in. I'm sorry, but having been in the military, having been overseas with Iraq and Afghanistan and all that stuff, if, let's say, God forbid, Mexico and Canada freaking invaded into the U.S., every one of those roads would be IED'd. There would be bombs along that sucker. We would make them pay for every foot, every inch, and that didn't happen with Ukraine. Once Russia started moving troops in, then they started saying, we'll hand out rifles. At that point, it was too little too late, and they should have known better, even though they had gotten millions of dollars worth of freaking Javelin missiles, anti-tank missiles, and anti-aircraft missiles from us.
So that's something I think we see a lot with smaller countries. They just, you've seen down in Afghanistan when we left, they just pretty well threw things down and give up. You don't see the readiness, the war readiness that you see with larger countries. So does that have anything to play with that, you think? Maybe just...
I think it might. I think the war readiness might have something to do with it, but also, too, the Ukraine and Russia have had issues for a long time. Ukraine used to be a part of Russia. When they broke away from Russia, it was not liked by Russia, but they couldn't do anything at the time because they had just broken up the USSR. They had freaking 12, 13 countries all doing the same thing. 12, 13.
Your sound's going out.
Sorry about that.
There you go.
Me?
You're back.
Sorry. So
honestly, I think that they thought it was going to be like before, you know, a lot of smoke, a lot of bark,
Yeah.
no bite.
I think
So
the
they
world.
really weren't expecting things to come to the point that they are now. So they weren't prepared.
I think what you see there is what the complacency of the last century, the last half of the 20th century, 21st, Lord help, is what we've seen the last 40 years bred complacency in people. They just didn't think it was going to get that bad where they're at. And then you see somebody in a more modern place. Oh, crap. Now here they are. This is a real war. Russia's not done anything for years. And now here they are rolling in. And this is Red Dawn's really happening in the Ukraine. And now we probably can expect it in Taiwan, just to be honest. And yeah, it's a weak administration all around.
With your comment there where you said legitimately knew that you guys were going to be invaded, that they were going to invade for a while, why not prepare? If you actually knew, if they knew that this was going to happen, why not prepare for it?
Well, were there any preparations we're not hearing about, too? That's another question I have.
Well, and I know that I know for a fact that they had their military and their people. They had a lot of their people. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Space Madness just got me.
All right.
Said things are pretty good for me. I just got a new bike. So, I mean, he's good. He's ready to go. And said we should be running the country. There we go. We might be doing a better job. Who knows?
I got one for you. Do you honestly think if Mexico were to sit here and say, "Oh, I'm going to invade the U.S.," you think for a second we'd lay down arms and say, "Come on, we'll just let you roll in and take it"?
Ain't nobody gonna roll in here, even if the military ain't ready. There's too many guns out there in America. That's just an unsaid fact.
This is what happens when you take away people's fundamental right to defend themselves.
We said we were going to roll into Iraq, and when I was there in 2003, when we rolled into Iraq had everywhere you looked, there were runs miles long of foxholes and trenches. There were freaking pits filled with oil that get lit on fire to obscure our sight and the way that we breathe. There was freaking the roads were dug up. There were bombs and stuff waiting everywhere. It was insane.
And that was a smaller country. Yeah, they were somewhat modern, but that was a smaller country that was roughly the same size as Ukraine. The only thing they had going for them was, at the time, Saddam Hussein had built himself up something like the 6th largest military in the world.
So Borg is saying that nobody's rights were taken. They just have a smaller army. I did see where it was like they were evacuating women, and anybody, like I think it was like men 16 and over, they said, "You're staying, you're fighting," and they just started handing out guns. So
they're being told to fight.
Yeah. Now, Borg, you may be able to answer this, but I've heard that they actually are one of the few European countries that allow their citizens to own firearms. They don't have firearm restrictions. I don't know if that's true or not. I mean, I don't got a solid, here's my thing on it. I don't got any kind of like, well, they could have done this, they could have done that, because I really don't know. I'm just, I mean, there's hindsight. We can look back and say a lot of things, but in reality, we say America would do this, but if they were to roll up on our soil, if they knocked the grid out, roll up on our soil, would we know? Who knows? I mean, you know more than I do, Jeremy, because you're a vet. But
I say 83 million people would say otherwise.
I mean, we would fight back, but I mean, then there's a lot that wouldn't in certain areas. You know what I mean? There's certain areas that are not pro-gun that wouldn't do anything. They'd run and scream. And
all right, so when it comes now, remember I mentioned in
We're having a hard time. I don't know what's going on today. There you go.
Any better?
Yeah, when you do that, we can hear you.
Yeah, I have a feeling a lot of the nuclear plants are fixing to come into play for a lot of countries, to be honest.
Well, so I was in National Guard in California, and for multiple deployments.
Hold that rabbit ear like you was. Hold your mouth right.
How's this?
There you go. There you go. Whenever you do that, I can hear you.
Yeah, I must have a loose mic wire or something like that. All right, so being National Guard in California, it was one of those things that we were my unit when I first, well, not when I first went to the National Guard, but when I went to the National Guard, I had 2 units that were part of the response that was supposed to be the response in case Russia came into Alaska.
Mm-hmm.
So we had the snowmobiles, we had all that, we had the big snow cats and all that stuff, which were really cool. But it was one of those things of, it was unique to understand the mission to have to go up there if that were to happen. And shortly after I got into my unit that I deployed with to Afghanistan, we lost those snow cats and stuff because we no longer had the mission to go and retaliate in case Alaska got rolled up into. But also, too, that goes to the whole, we haven't trained for asymmetric warfare, and forever. Asymmetric warfare is where you have an army with the uniform versus an army with the uniform.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, you have Ukraine, they're dealing with an asymmetric warfare. 9 out of 10, they're going to roll into a guerrilla warfare. Which at that point, a lot more can be done with a lot less people, with a lot less material.
It's kind of it's kind of the Minuteman situation when you had this huge empire in America and the Minutemen didn't march in formation; they just come out the bushes. So are you saying America's been mainly training for guerrilla warfare for a while now?
A lot of it, it's, as far as military, we train for anti-Minuteman.
Okay.
Because we fought Iraq and Afghanistan. They're more of your, they're tribal warfare. They're more of your shoot and scoot kind of fighting.
Yeah.
A lot of what we did, a lot of that guerrilla warfare. But the thing is that we have a lot of older guys that are my age and older that trained for years for asymmetric warfare. And so it's one of those things of, now, a couple of those guys that are trained in that can train a lot of people how to fight like that, can train a lot of people how to fight in guerrilla warfare. And it's odd to have to think like that, but it's one of those things that when you look at a military situation, you have, for every company, you have roughly 4 to 5 officers, yes. But you'll have somewhere around 30, 40 non-commissioned officers. Those non-commissioned officers, pretty much for the most part, can train everybody in the unit how to do what that unit does. So 30 to 40 non-commissioned officers that are infantry can train 30, 40 infantrymen or more. And then you have your special forces dudes who do that with non-English speaking troops, who do that with tribal troops and stuff like that. They're, along with the Rangers, trained to do that. They train to make friends with the locals and help them learn to fight on their own.
So,
I mean, and you have that many vets in the U.S.
Yeah.
If something like that were to ever come to the U.S., number one, if an EMP were to happen, you would have, I'd say,
Sid Davison agrees
2 years.
Sid Davison is agreeing with you. They're saying they're rooting you on and everything you're saying. So, they like you.
So, yeah. All right. So after an EMP, you probably have about 2 years before your information gets so decentralized where you can't get information out to from town to town, city to city, state to state, that another country could roll in, and it would be very difficult to fight against that. But once they got in, there's not a country in the world short of, if you were to mix Russia and China put together, to provide enough manpower and weapons to be able to completely roll through the U.S. Like that general said during freaking World War II, behind every blade of grass, there's a firearm. But since Obama and since Biden have kicked in and all what's been happening in the last 15 years, there's about 2-3 rifles behind every blade of grass.
Yeah, a lot of guns.
Did you know that in Illinois you're not allowed to own or possess a firearm?
Yeah, he said that they can. They can own guns.
Yeah, you can, just not in town, just not in city limits for like Chicago.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Board.
I think that's a bunch of BS.
Board.
Isn't that a violation of the 2A?
Right now, all right, so it is, and we see it as it, but right now there is a
I'm not sure, Mr. McGee.
case that's gone into the Supreme Court in New
York. Got to be careful with that.
That is talking about that, saying, hey, this isn't right, and so right now we're waiting for the
trying to find money. I'm sorry, I got a guy asking if there's a live of people on the ground in Ukraine, and I'm kind of relaying that information. Danny told me that. So if you see somebody live streaming asking for money, and they're saying they're in the Ukraine, they may not be in the Ukraine. It may be a scam. So people do watch out for that. People are playing on, as bad as it is, people are playing on it. Now, Jeremy, you keep going, man. I'm sorry I interrupted you. I just wanted to get that out there to folks.
It's all right. So the case is going on in New York, the Second Amendment case, stating that you shouldn't have to have a carry concealed weapons permit in order to have a firearm within city limits or to have a firearm, period. And New York, or you shouldn't have to have a license to have that, because when you have that situation, you end up with a shall issue, not a will issue. And so right now we're waiting for that case to be heard. They have put off putting out their findings until later on. I'm thinking that they're going to wait until closer to the election for it. But it's one of those things that once that comes out, that's going to shoot states like California in the foot. That's going to shoot states like Washington in the foot, New York in the foot, New Jersey, Virginia, all those states and stuff that were saying, hey, you have to have a license in order to own a firearm within city limits or at all.
Now, Evan was talking about NATO was wanting to take our guns, is what he heard. Now, that may be UN. That is one of their big policies. Slovakia, I believe it was. They I think they went in and were doing peacekeeping, and that was what they enacted there. But they had a terrible time because of the civil wars. There was so many people making guns in their they were making guns in their garages and basements, and so it was almost impossible. There's still people, and when they do sell them, they sell them to the criminals because the criminals is paying more money for them. So that's the things you don't hear, So one of the things about Alabama's good. We actually, I think, in the House, in the Alabama House, just passed constitutional carry. So it's going to the Senate. They're going around to everybody, and that is one thing. People that want to get rid of them don't think, well, this could happen. Well, look at Ukraine. They can own guns. So that is a good thing. So if you're out there, you want to fight, you can, but they're handing out guns to people. So here's the thing. If you are one of those people that's never handled a gun over there now, you got to go through a crash course of how a firearm works. So if that happened in, let's say the states started splitting up and we're fighting each other. Let's say California's going to try and take over Nevada, and now Nevada's got to arm everybody they can. Well, you're going to be one of those going through that kind of, and there are stories and scenarios where that happened. A book I read recently, This America Balkanized. And could it happen in the state we're in now? Heck yeah, it could. People could just get tired of fooling with it. And then we're all fighting. That's one of the things I really think. You go ahead.
Now, one thing I do want to let people understand, all right, so Russia has been, and I'm not pro-Russia, I'm not pro-anything, but the thing is that Russia, people don't understand, you can own firearms in Russia.
Yeah.
People have rights in Russia. There are people that have, the only reason why, so Putin has been heard said that he wants to rebuild the original borders of what Russia used to be, which it could either be the USSR or
back to when into the 1800s and stuff, where it was an even larger country. But the thing is that they are still a democracy. They are still, or at least a republic. They are still a place where, for the most part, everyone has rights. They just have certain laws.
That's not how that works, B19.
There, B19's in there wanting some iTunes cards. Hey, send it on Western Union. I'm sorry.
Western Union now.
Here's something that I've heard of. Here's something.
Prince that wants money.
Yeah, there you go. One thing I've heard about Russia, and this is something, and it may be the same for China, I'm not sure, but a lot of, you know how we have all our decommissioned equipment in towns, down on the court square or whatever. One of the things they say about Russia, you know, they completely decommission that equipment in America. But Russia, that stuff, that's ready to go, and the people in the town are ready to service that and get it up and running. So that town basically has the old equipment, and they keep it up, and they're ready. Lightfoot Farm said they muted that guy, so he's probably gone.
This is what I find funny, is that people want to keep bringing up Trump and the fact that he praised Putin. Well, even with him doing that, do they not realize that during the entire time that Trump was in office, we didn't have any new wars. Mm-hmm. We didn't have any conflicts in any other countries because Trump had respect that no other president had been able to get from these countries. That is true. In office, they know that they can do whatever the hell that they want to, and that's what they're doing. And they're showing the U.S. we're no longer afraid of you.
See, it says all he needs is his tank back. There will be a lot of bodies sacked up if they try disarming you. Yes, they will. Well, the one thing I'm looking at, you know, it's where we're at now. Trump got voted out, or whatever happened. Whatever happened that day, no matter what you believe. So we'll say it like that, because I got people from every spectrum comes into these lives, and I want the message getting out no matter what. So whatever you believe, whoever you are, we're in the state we're in. Where are you at? That's what I want to ask people right now that are watching. Are you prepared? Because the cyber attacks thing is real. Now, Jeremy, I don't know how much you've looked into it. I do know they took the banks out in Ukraine, and they've been testing our infrastructure for the last few years, cyber attacks on different aspects. They hit water treatment plants.
No one cares if he lost, dude. That's not even what we're talking about. The fact is, this world is in a world of shit right now. Yeah. And if y'all can't see that, you better wake up.
We're talking about prep.
To do with presidents.
If we get trolls in here about any more politics, y'all kick them out. We're not doing politics. We want you to be prepared. I don't have that problem on clappers much, but we get talking about presidents in here, it gets haywire. So, well, let's put it like that. But, you know, my faith ain't in Trump. My faith ain't in Biden. My faith's in God. I don't care either way. Right now, I'm done with it because all of them are corrupt, and you can't vote in the one that you feel like will be there because they'll shut it down. So, what I'm saying about that, it's going to heck. Are you prepared for this? Because if they hit our grid, they can do it. They've been doing it. There was some water treatment plants, one I think in Virginia, one in California. They went in and wiped out all of the computer programs that were set in place to treat the water. And nobody knew, and people were, something like that similar happened here. When I was at work, they called and told the people at work, for some reason, this certain chemical's not been going in. Y'all need to be, we don't know how long it's been happening. Y'all need to refrain from drinking the water. Told the businesses, but didn't tell the people in the town. People who's paying for the water.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Well, there was that. Back in the day, before we had everything was on the internet and everything was run by computers. I don't know if you remember, but they used to have it where randomly freaking the power, sorry, I can't think of the word, the power transformers and stuff like that, the big stations.
Yeah.
They would go through, and they always said it was Russians, but they would go through and they would shoot those transformers, empty all the oil from them, and let them blow up or burn up. And then all of a sudden, an area would have no freaking power. And it'd be like, oh, it was the Russians that did it. It was the Russians that did it. They snuck people in and shot them from a distance. And it could have been or it couldn't have been, but it really doesn't take all that much to shut those kind of systems down if you know just the littlest bit of how it works.
Well, has anybody else noticed that when it comes to the schooling systems now, too, we're somewhere adept and in tune to wanting to teach our kids how to survive with electronic devices and computers and the internet and shit, running everything where they can't think for themselves on, I mean, just simple things as far as communication without the internet.
I see it.
When we were kids, we talked on walkie-talkies.
Yeah. I remember them Power Rangers walkie-talkies we had. I see my kids now. I've had to make them go outside, but then I see them growing a lot more. But when it come to school, like they knew how to do all this stuff on a computer that I had to teach myself once I started going doing more online. But
exactly, J-Rod.
They didn't know how to go out.
We're not teaching them how to self-sustain. We're not teaching them survival.
Self-sufficient. We've cut out ag programs. We've cut out home economics. We got people that don't know how to cook their own meals. We got people that don't know how to sew their clothing. All these things that I'm putting on here, people are watching because, hey, I don't know how to do it. And I might have to do it down the road.
That we've got so many kids that are driving these days and don't even know what the gauges on their dashboards mean.
Don't know how to change tires. Don't know.
They're cute little, intricate little, I just seen a video on this last night. Emojis. What did she call them?
No.
Enhancements.
One question.
Little upgrades to my car.
Yeah. One question.
I just want to know how many does everybody else have. The more that you have, does that make us cooler?
You talking about that thing on the back or the accessories? I get lost trying to keep up with all three of these cameras, but Jeremy, Patriots United has a question. Would they be able to disable our strategic weaponry in America? We've had different things happening. Would they be able to hack that?
Really? It probably depends on which strategic that you're talking about.
Check that oil. You better check that water and antifreeze too.
Check that oil.
So we have multiple levels as a country. We have multiple levels of defense. You have your satellite defense, which Space Force and the Air Force runs. Even the Marine Corps has a bit of it now. Which the satellites and stuff, I don't know if you remember Ronald Reagan talking about the Star Wars system.
Yeah, the platform.
Right, and they had and I don't necessarily know exactly because I wasn't one of those satellite guys. My ex-brother-in-law was, but I wasn't. Mm-hmm. But the thing is that I don't know how secure the controls are for those. I don't know how secure I don't think any of our nuclear missiles are on internet control, but I do think that they probably have a radio system where you have to have a certain coding in order to get messages to whoever's running those. Because our Minuteman system, we went through, I forgot, I think it was JFK and Nixon and all them. They pushed that when we started having all those Minuteman systems and all that stuff, all those nuclear systems, they had to have a person to turn on and or to flip the key in between the launch codes and them launching. Did you see the Real Buzzard Life's comment? He says that he works on satellite and drone systems for the U.S. Air Force. So he says they're hardened communication systems. So what does that mean? Are they hardened against electromagnetic pulse, or are they hardened against cyber attacks? They would be hardened against EMP, as well as they probably have so many firewalls and so many, it probably has a 32-digit freaking key in order to say fire or even to adjust to be prepared to fire. It probably has 2 or 3 keys to turn it on, to ready it to fire, and then another 100 some odd key to fire it, where if one digit is wrong out of the little paper card that the president breaks open, like in the movies, that if it's wrong, freaking it doesn't fire.
Got to get that key in. Now, Buzzer Life is saying that it is not connected to the internet as we know it. So, so that was the key thing I was wanting to know. So y'all both have educated me on that. Somebody said a comment up here, and Broken Piece Chemistry said, unfortunately, most people don't do a lot that don't a lot are super tired just working. I will address that. I feel like factory life, because I work it, I know it. I've had my schedule changed like 4 times in the last month simply because we can't get enough in, because so many people are doing stay-at-home jobs. So many people are doing van life now. They paid their bills off. They don't got to work. And so you're working more and more and more. And then a lot of the ones that come in, you got to get them motivated to work because they've never had to work. I understand that because I come home exhausted from work and I just feel drained, especially since I had coronavirus. It's like it just jacked my body up. I don't got the I had 2 years ago when I first got it. But that is what we're seeing. Maybe they meant to do that. And we are letting our kids sometimes get online a little more, and they're not learning these things. And that kind of correlates with what we're looking at now. We've got all this stuff. We're used to being the top of everything, but we've got more and more knowledge we're losing. Parents that are not able to teach because they're working because they have to. And especially now with inflation going through the roof, you got more parents working 2 jobs. And then
I worked too, but I didn't hand my kids a device, and I didn't allow them to sit in front of a video game.
But
even then, how many parents?
The same mindset that I was raised with.
See, and it's easy to do that.
Parents even know the stuff.
You better be in the yard.
Yeah, it's easy to do that. Pallet Cabin Man, we're gonna bring him in. It's easy to get that way, though. I can understand. I'm not saying it's good, but it's easy to see it get that way. And the thing we got to look at, like Jeremy says all the time, these people are coming into positions of training, power, holding prestige, government. So are we in a place that if they hit us with a cyber attack, would we be able to fight back with the people we have now? You hear about the military is being gutted of its fighters because they won't take vaccines, or because a lot of people don't go into the military anymore. So the things like Buzzer Life does with the satellites and keeps them up. So who's going to replace him for that? Will we be like the Ukraine eventually one day where we don't have the defenses we have? We don't have anybody to operate it. I always had that theory. It'll be a slow go and we'll just fall apart. We're rusting at the seams right now as a country, and I feel like that's what will happen.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Right now, everyone talks about the parents need to teach their children. There are very few parents right now who know much about fixing their car, fixing their house, let alone growing food, let alone farming, let alone hunting, let alone fishing, let alone camping, let alone being on their own, or even the biggest bit, let alone knowing anything about being able to adapt or learn, because everything that they get is off of their phone. Everything that they get is off the internet. Everything that they get, they don't learn unless they see it on the internet. And then at that point, they think it's gospel once they see it on the internet, or they think that they have to go through and do it exactly like that. They can't adapt. There is no thinking around stuff. There's no critical thinking anymore. There's no, it's just not there. That people aren't as flexible anymore.
So Broken Piece Ministry is agreeing that they're like that. And I can say I'm having to relearn a lot. Now, Pallet Cabin Man, I don't want to leave you up there in the corner unattended and unable. I'm gonna ask, what do you have to add to this right now, with this conversation, with just everything that's going on with Ukraine and all that, and this whole thing?
Well,
Well, to the point of what you guys were just saying, that I knew this was happening back 15 years ago with or what do you call it, nano pods or something, those little music things.
iPods.
iPods, yeah, that's what it is.
There you go.
iPods, and then they started streaming. They started doing, XM radio, where you don't hear a variety of things. And then now for Facebook and TikTok, you got Snapchat, people like that, and these kids are just buried their head in that stuff, And a lot of the things I do, I mean, you've seen a lot of my content. My kids, some they work and then, they go and sit in their room. I mean, I got a great little area for play.
Yeah.
No matter how much I try and how much I tell them, hey, go outside, play in the cabin, explore. No, they don't care. I don't know what to do about that.
These days, it's you're fighting a losing battle. I'll take them outside. We'll be doing something. I'll turn around. One of them's then slip back in. We get them in there, and they're addicted to those phones. They're
You know what you do the same thing our parents used to do. Crack of dawn on the weekends. Your ass is up. Your bed is made. You've eaten breakfast. You're in the yard.
Yeah.
You better take you a gallon of water with you, or grab that water hose.
Oh yeah, I remember
make
them
you a
days.
spot in the yard to go pee, and anything else you got to do, because your ass ain't coming back in this house till them street lights come on.
I remember going to my parents' cabin and them locking the door, them kicking me out and locking the door behind me for the day and being like, hey, go to the lake.
The door was locked, so you could not get back in.
Exactly.
You could beat on that door, and you were blue in the face talking about.
Now they get you for locking them out of the house.
The door. You better get your ass somewhere.
Unless you were bleeding or falling over for
Snacks.
coming in.
Don't forget the snacks. Christine said, "Don't forget them snacks." Yeah, I mean, you'd pack a sandwich, you grab a bag of chips, you'd have a Coke, or you'd take a little change. So you'd run we called it Geneva's store over here, Bolivar store. We'd run over there. We had a trail cut through the neighbor's backyard. We about got shot one day because we ran up on the pot plants. And we
didn't have video games. We didn't have cell phones.
We had them, but I didn't.
Have none of that. There wasn't no internet.
Yeah,
you wanted to talk to your neighbor, was holler. To make sure they could hear you back.
Got a dog over there. He's wanting to get out and holler. But we had them, but we just didn't do a lot of it. You go ahead.
Yeah, we're a forest. Rabbits, ducks, chickens, and all this stuff. It's a fight. It's a fight. Kids outside. So mess with the rabbits. Mess with the anything like that. It's crazy right now. No matter how much I try. I mean, I got 2 daughters. I don't know. But maybe not. I don't know. But my wife be fighting with them. So
It's gonna be okay.
anyhow, I've heard.
I got
with our future. That's what we got.
We got our new youngin' in training over here. He just want to get in on the conversation with y'all. We got him crate training him. He's every time we think we about got him, he'll take a poop right there. We'll have to go get the mop out and clean. So he won't poop where he lays though. So we got him on a good schedule. We're talking about it loud, y'all. So don't be thinking
Yes.
we don't got a kid
We'll
locked
pick up the phone to call information and have 50 people on the line.
Oh my God. Man, it's amazing how things have changed, now versus then. I mean, literally, if all they'd have to do is hit, just knock the lights out or just knock the phones out. Knock the phones out for a while. You're going to have a literal uproar because one thing you got whether we all admit it or not, we're all addicted to technology to a degree. We check our TikTok feeds. We check the Clapper. We check Facebook. Somebody watching them videos. Somebody coming in here. I got to get that ready wise out there. That might just be me. But, you know, you're wanting to know if you're succeeding in what you're doing. And this is what we're all doing now. We're all online. So, I mean, we'd all feel it.
You know, you're trying to teach the man. That's what I'm trying to do.
We're waiting for the remote control because the TV didn't have a remote control.
Yeah, go push that button.
Yeah, I was remote control, by the way.
Turn it. Yeah. Hey, y'all remember when the rubber buttons would wear out and you'd have to use a paper clip to change the channels? Jeremy, your sound.
See, I don't use Facebook, so the day that Facebook went down, it didn't even bother me.
In our family, when I was growing up, we had the big wooden TV that had the turn knob. That if the turn knob broke, you had to use a pair of pliers.
Yeah.
And
We had that one.
then when it died, I remember Mom and Dad got the new TV, and they didn't have a table to put it on, so they just put it on top of the old TV, and it sat there for years like that.
Remember the old record players where it was the long one? It had the speakers that were built in along the side. It had the 8-track. And it had the turntable top.
I've been eyeing one at the local antique
Damn
shop.
stereo stopped working. That's all right. I'll turn it into a new table.
I find them things in junk stores all the time, sitting back in the back, and you always look at them and you think, man, that was what you wanted. Back in the day, that was the iPhone. That was the laptop, you know, the 70-inch screen TV. I see them old big screen TVs. It's like just basically a projector pretty well. Man, that was, if you had one of them in my town, Lord help, you had the money. You was running a plant somewhere.
I got one word that will bring you back. Doesn't matter if you're my age or older, it'll bring you back. Pioneer.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. The Z systems too, yes.
Oh, yeah. My parents had the Pioneer system and the glass shelf.
How about Atari?
Pioneer, that was... yeah, Ataris now. I about didn't catch up when they're the Ataris. Lord. Some of these kids found one down in a field house at the high school. Just was in there. I don't know if it worked or not. I was amazed that was still any around.
We had an Atari and we had
Charlie.
Yeah, we had an Atari and we had an Intellivision.
Somebody said they had to pick their own switches.
Pong with split swivel controllers.
The picking your own switches.
We're not doing politics in here, so we'll take care of that for you.
Get on out of here with your politics. We don't do that. I'm probably I hate to end the conversation, folks. I know we're having a good one, but I'm at the point in this live where I've drunk 2 cans of Mountain Dew and a whole bottle of water for my voice, and it is time to end it. We thank all of y'all for coming in, and I'm going to say a prayer. I'm going to be saying a prayer over everybody that's in here. We thank you for coming in. We're in perilous times. I say it all the time. We don't know what's coming next. And sometimes I wish we could go back to these good old days, back in the 90s and the 80s when things were simpler, or it felt like they were. Now, it's crazy. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I love you too, Ed. So I'm going to say a prayer for everybody. If you're not big on prayer, hey, you're welcome to head out. I always give everybody that opportunity. Dear Heavenly Father, I pray that you just touch everybody that's in here. They may have fears within, fears without. This whole situation may be unsettling to them. They don't understand what to do with being in it, what they need to do. Give them strength, give them wisdom, help them find what it is that you calling them to do right now. Lord, help them find a way to be prepared food-wise and water-wise in the midst of these crises if something does happen. I pray that you just anoint us as preparedness preppers and preparedness enthusiasts, survivalists, to be able to lend more aid than what we're able right now. Maybe in the middle of this, you'll enable us to give more than we think we're able to. And I pray that you just have your way in the world right now. I don't know if you're going to shut this down and make peace, God. Normally that's not the case. You let us do what we do as humans down here. But I do pray you protect the children, you protect people, and you let the best outcome happen in the middle of this. And you help us to be better people for it in the end. And I pray that you just put your hand of protection on all of us, Lord. In Jesus' name we pray. And they all said amen. So I'm gonna drop everybody out, and we will be doing the shameless spills. Everybody knows I'm an affiliate marketer. We do all this, and then if you want to, you can buy it. If you don't, you don't. So we're gonna throw that out there. We'll see y'all, Harley. It's good to have you in.
Have a good night.
We'll see you, Pellet Cabin Man. Good to see you. See you, Jeremy. Good to have all of y'all in here. I think it ended everybody. So, voice is about gone. Got some new things coming down. We got a picnic basket backpack for those of you that are just hiking enthusiasts, you're outdoor enthusiasts. It's a nice little setup. We're going to be trying to do some more videos, getting videos on here of it. I believe they got an affiliate link of some kind they're going to be doing with us. So they're a home-based thing. They have toys. We talked about getting the kids off the games. Well, they got a lot of different games that I've seen on their site. So that'd be something you want if you are in a situation where you're at home, or you don't got power, something to keep the kids' minds busy. But we'll be debuting that later. Ready-wise, if you were looking to be prepared, maybe there's still time, maybe there's not. I don't know if the attack's coming on America. It may not. But we could be in an emergency crisis. We've seen more than our fair share in the last 2 years. ReadyWise.com. E2910, E29TEN. That's your discount code to save 10% at ReadyWise.com. That's where you can get your meal buckets. You can get these easy to prepare venture meals. They got some great stuff in them. Got meat, got ones with meat. They got vegetarian soups. Got something for everybody. But you will have good meals for your camping, good meals for your hiking trips. If you're backcountrying, that's be great to have. So there you go, folks. That's a good thing to have there. And then the preparedness buckets, they last up to 25 years. These venture meals don't have that long shelf life, even though they do last a while. But the preparedness meals, the buckets, they do last a while. They got most of them have a 20-year shelf life, and they're basically boiled. You can just mix and boiled water with them, let them sit, and you got a meal. So there's a way to be prepared. 10% off. E29TEN is your discount code. Also, our affiliates at Olight. You can go to Olight.com, DB29. That is our discount code at Olight. They have sales all the time. You won't get 10% off with that code, but you'll just get the tremendous amount off. On those, you go directly to the site and you use the discount code. So I'm working directly with those companies. So E29TEN is the code for ReadyWise, and DB29, DB, D as in Dennis, B as in Bunch, DB29 is the code for Olight to save money. If you want to go through the links, you can go to edge29chaos.com. That's pretty well the place of my link, pretty well like a link tree for me, but it's just my website. Tapping any of the banners will take you to Grim Workshop, Instafire, or you can check out Prepper Kim. She bought one of the Instafire rocket stoves, and it looked like it was performing pretty well for her. She went through Instafire. So Grim Workshop, Instafire, they're great survival companies. You can get great gear from them. Also, you can go to Optics Planet and get a lot of the gear that you see in our videos. And you can also go to ShareSell, become an affiliate marketer like I do. And also, who else we got on there? If you want one of these Happy Gun shirts, you go to Iron Wolf Distributors. That's my merch handlers. If you, Dr. Kenny with Iron Wolf Distributors, the Happy Gun shirts, we got Edge 29 Chaos brand. We got different scripture verse sayings on different shirts. Go in there and check it out. Also, a thing that's free to you, it's on the Wattpad app. We got a link to my novel, Down the Fall. I haven't worked on the sequel yet, but you go read that one. It's free. But just tapping the banners on the website, that we get a few bucks just for you tapping those banners and going through our tracking things. So if you want to support us, there's ways to support us. If you want to go, if you're on Clapper and you want to join our support team, we have our different tiers. We have the bug out tier, where it's a $50 tier where we help you build a bug out bag. Ignatius Riley, I don't know if he's still in here. He just joined that. His money just came through, or it will be in my banking account soon. So you will be getting your survival gift, usually $15, $20 in value. Or you can join for $1, $5, and there's different perks there. You get shout outs on Clapper. And so there's that way. And then there's always the good old PayPal donation button on my website. It's whatever you want to do. So he's got to go to the bathroom. I got to take him out. I've had to put a couple of coats myself. It was good to be with y'all, folks. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your viewership. Share go to YouTube. Give me a follow on YouTube. The link's in my bio, and you can help share that cast out. There's a lot of info on there. There's a lot of things there that you can share out. We have the recap, go straight through House to YouTube. You can go to our website, and that we got a link on Cast29.com. You can go in there and tap it, and you can subscribe to our live streams on YouTube. So got a lot of ways you can connect with us. IG, got a lot of different photos we upload there from just things we're doing. And we got a whole nother community growing over there. I think we're up to about 2,400 over there. YouTube's, we just got up to 118, so it's not huge. We're on Twitter, so Twitter's your big thing. We're also on something new. If you are looking for a free speech platform, there is a new one called Glitch Miami. Go check it out. Toe Furious has got that up. If you're into free speech, no matter where your spectrum is at, he says anything goes as long as it's not violating, nothing, illegal. So there you go, folks. I love you all. I've got you in my prayers. Thank you for coming into the stream. Y'all be safe. Get prepared. We don't know what's coming down the pipe to us. But end on